Hello friends, welcome to BISP Solution. My name is Lokesh Gandhi, and in today's session we are going to learn how to perform revision control in Oracle Fusion Supply Chain Management. So a revision is a particular version of an item. Version means item, like suppose we will take an example, mobile company, iPhone, Apple iPhone. iPhone is an item. An item have a different version like iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14 are the version, right? So we have a revision control to track the item quantities by the item revision numbers. So we will define the item numbers under the items, and with the help of that, we will track the items quantity, right? And we can use the letters, numbers, character to define the revision numbers in our application. Right? So this is the item. We take an example. This is the item we will create in our application. This roller bearing 2, and this roller bearing is an item. An item have a different version: version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4. Version 1 is the cylindrical, and version 2 is the spherical, and 3 is the needle, and 4 is the taper. So we will define these version under this item, and we can track the quantity when we transfer the quantity, suppose in the inter organization and sub inventory to another sub inventory, and intercompany transactions. So this is the item, and item have a different version. We will create in our application, and we'll see how to perform this revision control. And later on, we will create a transaction, and we can define the on-hand quantity on the revision 1 or revision 2, right? So before we are going to perform this revision control, we have to set up, and we have to perform some process like set up the revision control at the inventory organization. And after that, we have to create one item. And under this item, we will define the revision, and we have to enable this revision control under the item. And at the end, we will create a transaction, a miscellaneous transaction, so that we can define, and we will create the on-hand quantity under this inventory organization. So let's move on to the application, and we'll see these all setups, right? We'll see one by one. So this is our application. And first of all, we will see the items in this application and the default revision. So under the product management, click on this product information management. Here you can see the items, the organization. You can create, you can manage on this window. So click on this task list. Click on that, and we can create the item, we can manage the item, we can browse the item, right? So click on this manage items. So let's search. So these are the items in the organization. You can see Tata 1001 and 1002. And we have the organization. We have the New York, and one is item master, and the Tata Asking event. So let's click on this one, and we'll see the revision, the default revision provided by the Oracle when we create the inventory organization. So you can see this is the item Tata 1001, and the revision is 0. The default value provided by the Oracle is 0 when we create the item. And when we create the inventory organization, at that time we have to provide the revision, right? So cancel out. Done. Now click on this setting and action, setup and maintenance. So first of all, we set up the revision control at the inventory organization. So we have to go to the implementation project in order to go to the inventory organization. So click on this manage implementation project, click on overview, and this is our implementation project, data implementation project, and search inventory organization. So this is manage inventory organization. Go with any one of them. Click on this manage inventory organization, go to task. Search by name, Tata. So we have two types of organization, and first one is Tata New York inventory organization, and second is Tata Austin inventory organization. So let's click on first one and click on manage organization parameters. So this inventory organization, the item grouping behavior is reference organization. When we create inventory organization, we have to define the item grouping behavior. At that time, when I was creating this inventory organization, at that time I was give this inventory grouping behavior reference organization, right? But when we give the starting revision at the reference organization, but at that time the options is not visible under this inventory organization. We have to define, because this inventory organization depend on the item master. You cannot edit the item under this inventory organization. We have to edit the option in the item master. So our inventory organization is defined. Definition organization must. Let's cancel out. Click on this Austin and click on manage organization parameter. And you can see over here the item grouping behavior is definition organization, right? So let's enter the starting revision 1, right? We are going to define revision from the 1. Starting number is 1 under the Tata Austin inventory organization. So all the item, all the revision we are defining under this inventory organization. And when we define the grouping behavior is reference, then we have to perform revision control under the item masters. Both are different. One is defining the revision under the item master, and one are defining the revision under the inventory organization, this chilled inventory organization, right? So we are going to define the revision control under the child inventory organization, right? So this one and 7 rows. Now we have to create one item over here. Done. Done. Let's click on this navigator. Go to PIM information. Sorry, product information management. Click on task list. Click on create item. Right. So we have to define the organization. So this is our item master. Under this item master, we are going to create this item. Under the data still varying item class, we are defining the this item, right? We have to define template, finish code. Okay. Right. Let's enter the description over here. So we are going to vary to it. So this is our description. Is active. Is active. So you can see over here the item when we create the fresh item, the revision is 0. The revision is 0 by default. This Oracle defined the 0 when we create the item freshly, right? Enter the unit of measure, each quantity, and we have to define this item under the inventory organization. So go to the associations, right? So this item define, and you can say the create under the item master. Now I'm going to define this item into the Austin inventory organization, right? Select should I run, right? Now 7 close. So this is roller bearing 2. So we create the item. Now create the revision for the item. Right? Click on this task list. Click on manage items. Let's search it out for item. And this is our roller carrying 2, and this is our item number. And click on this inventory organization. Click on this item. See, the revision gets updated. 1, right? Now we have to define the, now we have to create the revision for this item. So we have to click on this action and click on manage revision. So the revision control 1, we have to describe the name for the item. Span record, RP, preparing. Any reason? Let's move on add. We have a spherical bearing. 7 crores. Right. Now we have to enable the revision control for the item. So in order to go to the specification and go to the inventory, and in the material control you can see the revision control. It's not enabled. Status is no. Let's change it. Yes, and 7 close. So let's, yes. We have last step is miscellaneous transaction. So when we set up the revision control and create the item and all the setups, now you can create the miscellaneous transaction. This point, the last point, we have already covered in our previous session, how to create the miscellaneous transaction like miscellaneous receipt and miscellaneous issue. So this is how you can control revision control your in our application, and you can perform the business transaction based on the revision. Nothing but a items version based on the item version. So thanks for watching this video. Thank you so much.